Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Aussie Screen Printers Club. Here with Sam again. We're gonna have another little rant on a Saturday, so should be a good time.
Rant. I like that idea. How you been going? What's going on? You moved.
Yes, again. I feel like every time we chat, I've been in the process or am moving, but hopefully, we're here. We've got a home for the next few years. So,
Wonderful. How did the actual move go? You did it all in a weekend, didn't you?
we started like sort of on like a Wednesday. Got most of the stuff moved. Um, that week, sort of in the till Friday, and then a bit of stuff over the weekend, and just a couple bits
Yeah.
and pieces early this week. So um, the moving wasn't that bad. Seemed to happen pretty quickly, but the setting it back up a bit better has taken a bit longer than I thought, to be honest. Probably took longer to get everything set up again than it did to move.
Yeah, right. And
Um,
is everything gone? Like you've moved everything out of the last premises and also the home, so you've got it all together again.
yeah, which is nice to have everything in one
I bet.
spot. Because that was just a headache being able to of having some stuff here and some stuff there. But yeah, now it's set up a lot more efficiently, and um, now we can just work, hopefully.
What do you reckon was the hardest thing to move or to set up, reset up?
Ooh, I don't know. We've put up a lot more shelving and stuff. Um, I reckon the Bunnings down the roads got this. They're like biggest sale month of shelving yet. um, Probably just the little bits and pieces, finding a home, like a good spot for it that's sort of useful for everyone, um, and makes sense. But as far as moving like equipment and stuff, we're somewhat good at it now, to be honest. The embroidery machine, like easy as that was probably the one of the easiest things to move, to be honest. Um, the inks and all that fiddly stuff's probably the biggest pain. So, and just dirty, the
Yeah,
ink
right.
everywhere.
And
But
did you collapse the press? Like, do you tear it down or?
yeah,
Yeah.
and that wasn't too bad actually. My wife got roped into that part, so um, yeah, that they pull down pretty easy. The top just pulls straight off the top, and then pull the arms off, and then you have the yeah. It's pretty easy to move then.
Yeah, okay. That's
Mm.
good. What about the dryer? How did you get that? You'd forklift that on a truck or something?
No, we did that by hand too, just on the trailer. Um, it was a lot easier when I first moved it from the farm to the shed at the place that we bought, and where it's lived since then. I forked it on there with a forklift onto the back of the ute. Didn't really think about getting it off on the other side because that's pretty high to like pull a
Yeah,
dryer off.
yeah.
And the day that I did it, my wife had, well, now wife, had just finished night shift. She's a paramedic, and so I got her to like stop there on the way and help me unload it. But it would have been an interesting sight. Um, us trying to, I think it was like, oh, it was just, yeah, not that good. But this time I did it with the trailer and it was a bit close to the ground, so
Yeah, okay.
it
That's
was a bit easier to do, but still a bit awkward.
and the electric's all good?
Yeah, I was a bit, I thought ahead a little bit. When we did the contract for it all, I said I wanted like power run over to the other side of the shed. It's literally just set up opposite the switchboard, but they had to go sort of around and put it all there. Um, but I got them to put in what we need now, and the right like breakers and stuff, and then
Mm,
got them also to put in some three phase for down the road. Um,
great, good thinking.
yeah, but the Sparky came in to do it this week, and he's like, "Oh, what's your budget? Because it's actually probably going to cost a bit. And I was like, I'm not paying.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah. Okay.
go your hardest. So
So did
we
he
put,
have to upgrade the board where it came in, or just run more lines, or?
yeah, he had to swap out some of the old like switches to some like RCDs or something to sort of compact it because otherwise wasn't going to be enough space
Yeah.
in the board for what we wanted to put in there. Um, and then we went with we put 32 amp three phase um, everywhere, so it sort of covers us. I think most things are probably 20, but we went 32 just in case.
Yeah. Good thinking.
What's your press take?
Oh, well, ours is a nightmare. And
Because
that's, it's
does it
fully
use a lot
electric.
of power because it's
Yeah.
electric?
So what have we got? 10 color, 12 platinum, fully electric, and two flashes running in it. So um, we did a test on this recently. We've done it so many times. I'm struggling to remember. What we've asked for in the new place is 100 amps per phase, and we've
Hmm.
got two units, but we're not getting 100 amps apparently. We're getting
Okay.
65 amps per phase. Um, I know that ours spikes to 100, when
Hmm.
all the flashes come on and
Hmm.
the dryer's going and everything else. Well, we run a, what's it called? We've got a stampinator in there, but that won't be taking much power. And then it settles, and I think it settles around 50. But that's partly because it's a fully automatic, sorry, because it's a fully electric
Hmm.
press. So I think if you don't go for a fully electric press, you'll be fine with
Okay.
30 per phase or 35 per phase. But the run in will be more than that. So I'm assuming you can, change the circuit breakers and increase it
Yeah.
if need be. Yeah.
Mm.
So those flashes, they're the worst thing. Because,
Yeah.
the
Just
drawdown is so huge, it just spikes. You can actually see it. The guy put his voltmeter, ampemeter,
mm.
I don't know, on each phase and tested it, and you could just see it going like this every
Yeah,
time the
right.
punch went on. So, um, and I think some places alternate or not alternate, they put the flashes slightly out of phase. So one kicks in maybe a couple of
Mm.
nanoseconds or a second later. So that you get a spike, comes down, and the other one goes up and comes down,
Right.
both, which can help. But yeah, power is definitely the worst thing in our industry in terms of
Hmm.
setting up, isn't it? So what have you got? Tell us what you've got. It was quite close to where you were, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not too far. Sort of, kind of the other side of like the city part almost, but um, it works out to be about the same distance from home, kind of thing. So it's a bit more in an industrial area. We were originally on like the main street, um, which could have been a good thing. Um,
Because of people just seeing it and dropping in. Yeah.
yeah, but then most of the customers that we want or looking for or finding us aren't like are different to like just a like we don't want a retail customer really. And even we hadn't changed over the signage properly where we were, just because I wasn't 100% sure what was happening. Um, and even just with the small sign on the door, we got a fair few people like stopping in, but it was all like it was not good orders. It was just, and there's not much to show them because we're not a retail shop. We've got some samples and stuff to have a look at, but you can't buy something there and then.
Yeah.
Um,
So you're going to prefer it not being on the high street now?
yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Um, but this road is surprisingly busy. It's sort of is a lot busier than I thought. Sort of cuts between sort of the other more industrial area and sort of the a bit of the I don't know what you call it, like sort of neighborhood type areas. So
Yep.
um, I think we'll still get a bit of traffic here, and possibly a bit more of the market that we're targeting rather than just everyone that wants their baby's names printed on something.
We had a guy come in this week who the council elections are on in New South Wales, as you may or may not
Mhm.
know. He wanted some t-shirts for a political party, and I got quite excited because we did one of those once before and it was huge. And eventually asked the question I should have asked at the beginning, which was, how many do you want? And he said four. It was like, take a look at that machine out there. Come on, we can't do four. And eventually he went for a quote of 20. And then he
Okay.
phoned back the next day and told my colleague he was just after four. We were like,
Oh,
we told you this. Anyway, but yeah, it's frustrating when people do that. Yeah. So you might
mhm.
get a few more of the kind of businesses around you as well, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I'm hoping so. Um, but yeah, it's much better ratio of sort of production space to showroom and office space. Um, and it was sort of a no-brainer because it's works out slightly less than what we were paying for just like the space that we had at the other place with just like it was mostly showroom and office space. Um, so yeah, awesome price. Just made it's just cheap because the bloke has his boat out the back. So
All
I'm like,
right.
hey, you can put your boat there for that price. So
Wow.
um, we'll end up saving like 30% uh, overall per year
Wow.
on rent on what we would have paid if we had all of the space that we were supposed to at the other place.
Wow. Blessing in disguise. It's been good.
Yeah. So it not exactly the most ideal time or something that we wanted to do, but um, yeah, sort of a yeah, good opportunity that fell into our lap, and um, yeah, sometimes you just got to do it, even though it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, for sure. And you feel like everything's ready and done, or there's still quite a lot of things like you're in full production again and
Yeah, um, we're pretty sweet now, ready to sort of um, hit it on Monday. I sort of delayed a fair bit of stuff and sort of pushed it so this week could be a bit quieter, um, which has worked out really well. And then all that stuff has started arriving like on Friday and then Monday, and then we'll be able to, yeah, just hit it. So, but there's a few like things I'd like to get set up a bit better. Um, but yeah, definitely a lot better than it was.
that's cool. And the staff like it, the team.
Yeah, our graphic designer very conveniently happened to be away.
Nice work.
I was like, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying it's very convenient. But no, uh, yeah, our Kate who helps in the production, she's like, yeah, this is heaps better. So
Nice.
we can have everything. Yeah.
That's excellent. Well done.
Mhm. What
Just
about
in
you? How's your week been?
well, the week. Okay, I was away at the weekend last weekend. Oh, actually, that's maybe interesting to people. On Friday last week, we went away. I left here at three, sorry, at midday, and the staff worked on to three and four, the two sort of sides of the staff. And it was the first time Lydia and I were both away, and the business just ran without
Hmm.
either of us, And that was kind of exciting, a little bit worrying, but the guys did fine.
Hmm.
And actually last week it's been a bit weird lately because we've had a lot of people off, people with young kids and people taking leave and other people unwell. And that's been kind of weird. There was a day when there was only three of us here and we sort of managed. It seemed to be okay. It has been a bit quieter, although it's definitely picked up again.
Hmm.
Um, and that can be a real problem, when you're a small team and you lose 50% of your team through kids being crook or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, really can hit you. But yeah, we kind of coped with that. Um, don't think there are any kind of big standout events in the week, not that I can remember anyway. Um, New buildings coming on.
Hmm.
There's no roof. I don't, I, I don't know how much confidence I have in the builders. That if you've seen the slab, I think, which is massive, and it's now got
Mhm.
the walls on, but not all of the vertical steel is up. Just a
Ah,
bit worrying because there's one side, massive concrete walls, the kind of things, and there's no steel holding it up. It's just kind of leaning against these little posts, and I think, oh my word! But they're laying the concrete for um the car park and the driveway
okay.
so that they can get the other vehicles in more easily without making a mess.
Right.
At least that's what he's saying. So yeah, and I've been over there and met with the owner a few times and the builder just to say, can I have this there and that here and so on.
Hmm.
I'm still waiting on my quote for the fit out. This will be
Mm.
the fifth building. Sorry, the
Yeah.
fifth builders that. Oh yeah, we'll get you a quote. No worries. Haven't had a single one yet.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
Did you have you followed up, or they just?
two of them I've chased quite aggressive. One in particular quite aggressively.
Uh-huh.
Just can't be bothered. It's very odd.
Mm.
We're talking six figures. It's not
Yeah.
20K or something. Um, at least I imagine that's the case. If I had a quote, I'd know for sure. But it's a
Can't tell yet.
yeah, fairly big fit out. So yeah, that's a little bit worrying. But yeah, that's going okay. It's happening. There's people there every day. It's not like bit happens and they go away for a week or whatever.
Hmm.
So that's exciting. Um, but having the staff down was a bit of a hit that I didn't want to take. But
Mm.
you know, some of our staff are casual and some of them are on contract. How do you do that in your organization? Do you put people on casual contracts or?
Yeah. At the moment, I've only got two, and they're both casual. Um, with like a sort of an expectation of hours, sort of thing, I guess, of
Yeah,
minimum of this many hours, but it is still casual. So,
yeah,
which seems to work pretty well at the moment because like they can do more hours, but if it is slow, it's just like just do your sort of minimum hours per day sort of thing,
yeah,
which helps those sort of ebbs and flows a little bit.
yeah, yeah. That's what we used to do. And we have a couple of people that are still on those kind of contracts, which obviously end up costing you more. And they are both pretty much full time now. Well, one of them
Mm.
does 4 days. He's studying for a degree or getting on his way to a degree, and so he does four. The other one does 5 days, and you kind of think after a while, wow, probably should just put them on a fixed term contract. Everyone
Hmm.
else is on a fixed term contract for 2 years. And in Australian law, you can do a 2 year one and you can repeat it once. And then you either have to get them on a different role, a different job, if you want to
Oh.
continue doing fixed term, or you have to put them on a permanent. And it is quite scary that because, as you say, if you don't need a casual, say we don't need you. But once you've got someone on, they get all their holidays, they get all their sick pay, which is
Hmm.
perfectly right. They're entitled to that.
Mm.
But it does become a different kind of financial headache if things don't go so well,
Hmm.
a while or whatever. But yeah, um, when Paul was over here from the UK, the guy that's doing the ministry shirts there, he was just shocked at how much people get paid as a minimum wage here.
Yeah.
The UK's way behind. And I think Australia doesn't always realize, how much liquid cash people have. I know that sounds ridiculous given we're in this sort of time of austerity, but generally
Mm.
speaking, people do pretty well here compared to the UK. Um, so yeah, that was it caused me to sort of rethink the business model, whether I need to change it or whatever, but we're not going to. We're going to carry on the way we are just
Hmm.
now. Um, hey, I've got a question for you about your website. I haven't actually looked at your website for a long, long time. Is
Don't.
your what was that?
Don't. It's not
Oh,
that flash at the moment.
is it something you spend time updating regularly then, or not?
We've been in the process of doing like, I don't know how to even put it, like a sort of an online ordering type thing for like over a year now. And we also have updated our branding since then too, but we've only updated it on our like newer stuff. Has got like our new logo on it, but I haven't updated the website with that all because um have like we're building a new one, I guess. But yeah, so I've got another one that's sort of in the process that I think I'm just going to throw up for the next few weeks just to um, get up with the new, bit more updated stuff on it.
Do you build
Um,
that from scratch yourself, or you use an online system, or
mm,
how do you do that?
the one that's up at the moment is just through Wix, which is super easy. Since then, trying to do what we've been trying to do, we've also built one on Shopify that looks really nice. Um, but now we're moving to Deco Network, so building another one in Deco.
Deco, not
Um,
heard of that. How do you spell Deco?
just DCO Network, and that's sort of integrated into their software. It's sort of a package deal.
Oh, sorry, they're the shop management system as well.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So they tie in your website into that solution, do they?
yeah.
Wow, okay.
Um, which is it's not as sort of easy to make look nice, I guess, compared to like your standard website builders and stuff that are out there. But you can do everything you need to do with a bit of code and stuff. Um, so I've been using a bit of ChatGPT, and I think I'll just get a few coders to do the bits and pieces that I want to do at the end. But seems to work fine.
So do they provide the system where you can build your own t-shirt type? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so we want that for mainly for managing like our threads that we have in stock, and then um, our ink colors as well, I guess, because it'll like map the artwork and pick the closest thread color, or you can sort
Wow.
of pick it from there, which should um, save us a lot in like our proofing and stuff too, because that seems to be a really big cost for us is proofing all the jobs. I think that I've sort of looked at outsourcing that, but I think just this software will be a big improvement for that
Wow.
even.
Sounds pretty expensive, is it? Or is it pretty
It's a
reasonable?
lot dearer. At the moment we have Hoops. Hoops is nice and easy, but I just feel like I can't get as much information in there for each order as I'd like to, or that's easy to see.
Hmm,
Um, but oh, I want to say it's maybe, I think Hoops is like $150 a month or something. This is like 350,
right.
I think, with up to like 5 users or something.
And is Deco an American product?
It's actually owned by an Australian company, but a lot of their stuff I think focuses on the US and the UK. Um, but it used to be owned by Wilcom, I think, a long time ago. So that's why their embroidery side's really strong.
I see. Wow.
Yeah,
And what's the time to live for you for that? Is that close or is that months away?
it's a big job to set up. I guess all the back end is set up. Um, it's just sort of because it's got like some catalogs and stuff in there. Um, just sort of configuring those um, and getting a bit of a website up. But I'm just going to sort of get almost like a minimum viable product type thing. I was hoping to have it sort of set up and done and maybe test it a little bit before I go away on my honeymoon, because then that would also help the quoting. Um, like if I don't have to quote, because that also, yeah, it helps to be a bit more accurate. There's not so much guesswork in the quoting, I guess. Um, so then almost anyone can just jump in there without really knowing too much about what we should be charging for everything.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I don't know. This move and stuff has put a bit of a spanner in the works and taken up all that extra time. So,
yeah, fair enough.
mm,
The websites do take a lot of effort, don't they? And I feel like
mm,
I'm no expert in any of this, but I feel if you kind of put it up and then leave it, it's the worst conceivable thing you can do, to get fresh content. We've
mm,
been working on ours again recently and really trying to dive much more deeply into the SEO aspect of it to the point of, giving every single image a name and
mm,
or an alt name as they're called. And um, it's been a pain, but it's been good. And we're just working on listing every single product on our site that
okay,
we normally print on, at least every single AS color product,
mm,
um, just to give people a little bit more direction when they're coming in. Because you kind of like, if you have a site and it says, what do you want, a staple or a basic or a block tee, for example, but you don't have, I don't know, faded tees or stonewash tees or something like that. You sort of don't know whether people look at it and go, nah, they don't have what I'm looking for. I won't bother kind of thing. Um,
uh-huh,
but yeah, so we're just kind of going through that. But that Deco network sounds quite interesting. To look
mm.
at that.
I think
Uh,
it's definitely got its drawbacks, but I think every software does a little bit. You never find one that does everything you need it to
no,
do.
yeah, but it sounds like you can code it as well, right? You can add, extra code to do certain things.
That's it, yeah. Um, I think there's a bit more stuff coming out to so it sort of works a bit better with other softwares, which is um, probably one of the main things that is a bit of a drawback at the moment. You can't use sort of APIs and stuff too much um, for some things. I guess it doesn't play that nice with other softwares, but it's got the most of the stuff that you need to use on a day to day built in. But it sounds like there's a lot of stuff in development to, yeah, allow a bit more of that.
Yeah, it's good to know. Um, I think we've said it before, but I'm not sure whether you had Printavo in the past. No, and the guys at Antaste did. I don't know how they're going with that. I think they were keen to move to Hoops, if I remember correctly, going
Okay.
back a while. But of course, you can't use. They're now called Inktovo, aren't they? The whole
Hmm.
company, because it doesn't work outside of the US,
Yeah.
which is a shame. But did you ever use Printavo?
No, that's
No.
originally what I tried to get when I started looking at a software. Um, and that was the answer, that they'd just stopped um, taking on clients outside of the US when I hit them up. So um, yeah, but yeah, so that was that, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. We're still using Monday for our print management,
Hmm.
shop management system, and it's quite a Frankenstein now, but it's got everything that we need for now.
Mm.
Um, don't want to lose the cost of development that we've put into that for the moment.
Yeah,
So yeah, you're going off on your honeymoon, and your print shop is going to keep running while you're away.
I'm hoping.
What you're hoping, yeah, good. Well, congrats on the honeymoon.
Yeah.
Um, we should also shout out to Matt Dixon at Heaps Good Merch because he's just
Hmm.
gone off on his honeymoon. And I remember when we were chatting to him that day, he was talking about it being this great goal. So
Hmm.
it's good to know that he's been able to get away, he and his missus. And yeah, I guess if you're listening to this on your honeymoon, Matt, that's really bad form, mate.
Mistake. No.
Just hope your wife's not sitting in the background waiting for you to. take her out to dinner or whatever. Anyhow, yeah, congrats to you and congrats to you, Josh, for that. Um, yeah, it'd be good if you can keep your shop running for sure. That'd be everything.
Yeah, my wife's so excited. So we did like a big delayed one, but she's like, "Are you excited?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am," but I'm also really stressed. I didn't say that to her, but yeah, I'm a bit worried, but I think it's just got to be. It is what it is. It only
Oh
happens
yeah,
once, so
yeah, absolutely.
um, we'll just hope that they have enough to keep busy and tick over, and then we'll just start again when they get back.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll work out okay, and you'll probably be out once you're going to the Whit Sundays or something, aren't you? I forget. No, you're
We're
going
going to
overseas.
Japan, yeah.
That's right, going to Japan.
Mm.
I'm sure once you get there and chill out a bit, you'll be able to forget about things back here.
At least the time zone's not that different, so I'll probably end up doing a little bit of getting up a little bit earlier and squeezing a little bit of something in, but try not to do too much.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff. Industry news. I made that up, but there's an event coming up. Anyone who's interested, I think it's run by Rock and GJS. I got an email from Joel as an invite to this, and I had a little look at it. It looks really cool. It's an open house on the 19th of September this year from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And that's going to be down at Make Merch, who are in Western Sydney. Um, so, yeah, I think if you want to be part of that, I'm going to head down there and see what it's like. But you just go to gjs.co and you'll see the big banner and you can fill out a form to tell them you're coming. Um, it's obviously going to be an expose on the rock equipment. I think the Make Merchandise have just got it's either an 18 color or 22
Mm.
color
Yeah, I think 18
rock.
maybe, but
Yeah,
big machine.
big. Yeah, and I think a new dryer or something.
Hmm.
So I've never seen a rock up close and personal. I think you have.
Yeah,
Um,
in the States I did.
they're supposed to be pretty jolly good. So quite keen to see that and meet some other people. Um, but yeah, so I'll just announce that again, 19th of September, just a couple of weeks, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Just jump along to gjs.co, fill in the form and let them know you want to come. And that's obviously down in Sydney for those that don't know where Make Merch are. Yeah, I haven't heard any other interesting things going on in the industry. Nothing particularly exciting. Have you heard of anything?
Mm. Nothing too new, I wouldn't say. Um, yeah, just carrying on.
Sales are okay for you?
I feel like we're still getting a lot of smaller stuff at the moment. Um, but I also haven't really been putting as much into it while we've been moving and stuff. So um, last month actually ended up being our biggest month to date, which is weird.
Yeah, right.
Um, but I think that was just me fighting for my life, trying to make some money so I could pay for this place and the move.
Good
Um,
incentive, isn't it?
yeah, that's it. And we just happen to have a few of our bigger customers place some sort of just higher value orders, I guess. Um, yeah, this month has been pretty average, I think, so far. Just nothing stand out, not terrible
Yeah,
around your weekend. What about you
yeah.
guys?
Same. Picked up big time last month
Okay.
in the second half, which was great. We got super excited. Yeah, it's not bad for the first week of September. So it's
Mhm.
pretty normal where we're at the moment, but we'll see how
Okay.
it pans out to the end. I still wonder whether the transition from winter to spring and the onset of summer in spring
Hmm.
has made that switch a bit harder for people. Um, we had a few orders come in quite late in August for hoodies like quite
Hmm.
big orders, hundreds of hoodies. And I remember thinking they've ordered these way too late for the season. You know what I mean? It feels like summer. So maybe people are just struggling with that transition from one market to the other.
Hmm.
You just can never really know. I think that's what's so hard about marketing is it's hard to really get how efficacious everything you're doing is.
You
Um,
said you turned your Google Ads and stuff off or something at some point. A
Fa-
few.
Facebook, yeah, we don't use Google,
Okay.
not for ads, um, but I'm keen to have a look at that, but I haven't done it. Yeah, we use Facebook, so
Okay.
Instagram ads that annoy all our screen printing friends. Um, I turned them off before Paul came from the UK, and it went quiet. Very,
Okay.
very quiet. Um, we still did really well. Like we just didn't hit our target. Was it's a bit worrying. And so yeah, rebuilt those, redid them, turned them back on. We're doing some advertising for another sales model that we're about to deploy in the universities. I was doing some interviews earlier today online, and I'm just trying to get that going to get a bit more kind of terrestrial effort on the ground, real people
Mhm.
going. Um, we also purchased a ton of data for the UK market for Paul, and he is literally poised and ready. He's been sick, unfortunately, this week, but he's ready to go. Um, and so we're just backfilling on social media to build up that narrative in the UK. Everything else is ready. We've got 7,000 email records in a given market that we want to hit, but I don't want to hit 7,000 in one go in case he gets,
Mhm.
50 orders in the first week or something. It's kind of tricky deploying a new business, isn't it? Like that.
Mhm.
So that was cool. And we will eventually do Facebook ads there for him. And yeah, I just hope he hasn't forgotten everything he learned when he was here.
Did you notice quite a difference, like when you turn those ads back on? Have your what does it take?
Yes, no. Again, it's so hard to know because we also do
Mm.
big email runs.
Okay.
We'll do 60,000 emails a month. That's our quota, and we always blow it every month. So we at least do that. And it's hard to know, which is working best. We should really canvas, but I just feel like when people are filling out a form, the last thing they want to do is tell us how they heard about us. But
Hmm.
um, we've been pushing harder for reviews. Built that
Okay.
into Monday now. Um, but yeah, so I don't know whether it's coming in as a result of Facebook so much or the emails. We turned both off
Okay.
when Paul came over.
Right.
Um, I did read an article this week that said that email campaigns are the way to go, or they're
Yeah.
more efficacious than Facebook. But they also said that Google AdWords was really, really good. So,
Mm.
tell you one thing that did happen this week is the weekend when I was away at the coast. I don't know why. Oh, that's right. I just Googled screen printers, quiet moment, just to see what came up on Google Maps locally. I was in Sawtell, which is just south of Coffs Harbour, if you know that area,
Okay.
um, and on the north coast and of New South Wales. And a few came up, and for some reason it flicked back to Armidale. And one of our old competitors, who's now non-existent, was still listed on Google Maps as screen
Mm.
printers. So I just went onto the Google um, record for that company, and there's a little thing at the bottom saying click if you need to change anything. So I thought I'll just do that. And there's a thing that said, this business is closed down, please notify us. So I just clicked that. It
Hmm.
was gone in like half an hour.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And I know that they have gone. I wasn't doing anything dodgy.
Yeah.
It did kind of make me think, oh, why should they be on, with us when we're, but it was just fascinating. Google just took it straight out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, why am I talking about that? I can't remember. Oh, advertising. Yeah. So I don't know which is working best. We get a lot of repeat custom. That's obviously growing as our custom grows,
Mhm.
which is helpful. Um, but yeah, I don't know exactly um, any more than that about what's working and what's not. We
Mm.
don't do any cold calling. Uh,
Mhm.
is that something you do?
No, I haven't tried. I've got a bit of a list that I've wanted to try, but I just haven't done it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to try it, maybe. I think if you could, I think that you could do it an all right way that it sort of is not annoying, or if it's to the right market, maybe. I'd like to try at some point, but
Have you ever gone to or joined any of the chambers of commerce or any of those types of organizations?
I've been to a couple events locally, like with the Toowoomba Chamber, um, but I haven't. I think I think it's easier if it's not just you there, like if and you sort of got to go a little bit so you sort of get to know a couple people. A lot of our business is still not local, um, but that seems to be growing more. Um, but yeah, what about you? Do you try
Haven't
local
done,
stuff?
not really. I have in the past, and it kind of irritates me, to be honest. And that's maybe a bit crass and arrogant, but I find there's a lot of people just trying to sell stuff to you constantly.
Hmm.
There's, and I guess that's why you're there, right? But um, rather than develop, a business relationship around supporting one another, which is fundamentally what they're for, it's, how can I sell stuff to you? Whereas all of this stuff takes relationship, doesn't it? Even when you have a quote come in, we're always about just building a rapport as well as doing the quote and the mock up and everything else.
Hmm.
So I find them hard. There is the guy who used to do our electrics here, who's retired now, introduced me to some slightly, it felt a bit like a cult actually. It obviously wasn't, but it's another kind of alternative business or communications networky type thing.
Yeah.
And the lady from that, who is a designer, just got it into her head that we were going to use her.
Uh-huh.
And I was just, literally in a conversation saying, "Oh, this is what we do." And then I realized, oh no, she's a designer, graphic designer. That's the worst thing I want. But she harangued me, like she harassed me. I kept phoning and hey, and eventually I kind of put her off a
Mhm.
bit. But I thought, I don't want to be part of a group that does that, you know.
Yeah. I've um I have a friend that's I think they like a referral group or something. Um and I've been to one. He invited me along and I went to that. And it's sort of like it seems like a good alternative, but I don't know if it's yeah, like it's not the right customer. It's like small businesses.
Hmm.
It'd be like a few uniforms here and there.
Hmm.
Um I think that's a little bit the same with the chamber stuff. There's it's often really like in our town, there's sort of a go-to uniform place that's been around for ages, and he sort of got his fingers in everyone's pie a little bit. Um, but we work with them a little bit too because they don't do everything. Um, but yeah, it's yeah, I don't know if it's as suited to what we want to the customers that we sort of service, I guess.
Yeah, and I think in a smaller town like Armidale, Toowoomba's bigger than us, but what you tend to find is there's a lot of little people. Sorry, that's the
Mhm.
wrong expression. There's a lot of little businesses, and whatever height the people are. and then there's a few bigger ones, and the
Yeah.
bigger ones tend to kind of dominate, and and I just don't feel I've got time for that. I did a talk for one when I was consulting back in the day around the digital economy. It was a really big audience. I remember, can't tell you where it was, Penrith maybe, or might have even been Tassie. And when I talk on a podium, apparently I gesticulate a lot. And the photograph, the press were there, and they took a photo, and they got this photo of me doing this
Oh,
at the time. And for the benefit of those that are listening who can't see, I'm doing the kind of loser a symbol on my forehead, and it was just brilliant when they published it. Austrian Minor comes to tell this, that, and the other. There's a picture of me going like this to everybody, and I thought, oh no, that's just shocking. Um, but yeah, I know those audiences a little bit, but I just like you, I feel like you're just going to irritate a plumber coming round and asking for 4 t-shirts or
yeah.
whatever.
I Ours seems a little bit clicky almost. Everyone's uh been going there for a bit older sort of crowd, been going there for 20 years. They know the
Yeah,
usual people. It's a bit harder as someone who's a bit younger and newer
to break in.
to break in there. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit old school. Um, okay, well, I'm going to sign off if that's all right. Was there anything else you wanted to chat about today?
No, I think that's pretty sweet.
Okay. I think we'll be in communication before you go away on your honeymoon, but if not, do have a splendid honeymoon. Try not
Thank
to
you.
worry about work. I'm sure they'll
Yeah.
call you if it burns down or
I hope
whatever.
so.
I'm sure it'll be absolutely great. Great for you guys as well. Yeah. All
Tick it
right.
off the list.
Have a good one and
You
goodbye to
too.
everyone else. See you all in a few weeks.
See you later. Cheers.